for the U.S. Coast Guard 100-ton captain's license exam. This is my study guide that I used during the Coast Guard 100-ton captain's license exam to study for it. And so there's 5 different exams, and I'm trying to cover them here on YouTube for everybody, and hopefully this helps you out. This is going to be Navigation General, the exam on Navigation General. The first exam, and the most important one, is Rules of the Road. I think it's 150 questions is the actual exam, and you're only allowed to miss 4, I believe. So that's the hardest one. So if you haven't mastered that exam yet, go back to it and master that exam. Get every single one of those questions right before taking the exam. I think the second one, Navigation General, I believe there's 150 questions. I believe you're allowed to miss 30, at least 30. The next exam we'll be going over is Deck General. I believe it's the same. It's 150 questions and you're allowed to miss 30. And then I'll be going over Sailing Auxiliary and Towing Assistance. These are short little exams, I think 30 questions each. I think you're allowed to miss 5 on each small exam. And these exams are only, these smaller exams are only if you want the auxiliary and or towing assistance on your license. And then finally the charting. The charting is going to be hard for me to do here on YouTube, but I will try and at least go over some questions and maybe try to explain. At least you'll have the questions that you'll be asked, even though I might not be able to show you exactly here on YouTube how to do this. For the charting, I recommend going into an actual class or having somebody teach you it and practice it on charts of your own, okay? So back, the current exam is going to be Navigation General, and let's go ahead and go to the Navigation General. Let's see. And so here is the exam with the answers. We're going to be going through with the answers, and then I might do a video that does not have the answers, and we're going to go through just the actual test as if you were taking the test. So my first goal is to get these YouTube videos out with the answers so you know the exact answers, so you can study the exact answers, okay? And I do have an answer sheet. I can pull that up in a later video. But I do have an answer sheet for you so you can actually take this exam as if you were taking the exam. You can actually practice these questions as if you're taking the exam, okay? So without any further ado, let's go ahead and start this. This is the Navigation General exam for the U.S. Coast Guard 100-ton license. This is exam 2 of 5 exams. And we'll just start with these communication questions. I believe these are just broken up into different segments, communications, and several other segments. So, question 1, what is the correct phonetic pronunciation of the letter Z? Answer is D, Zulu. Question 2, what does the pro word over mean when you're communicating? Okay, the answer is D, end of transmission. Response is necessary. Question 3, the distress, safety, and calling frequency is channel B16. 4, regulations governing the frequencies of the bridge-to-bridge radio telephone are promulgated by the B, Federal Communications Commission. Question 5, to facilitate the reception of distress traffic, all transmissions on 156.8, I believe that's hertz, or channel 16, must not exceed B, 1 minute. 6, the Coast Guard broadcasts routine weather reports on channel C, 22 alpha. 7. The radio telephone required by the Vessel Bridge-to-Bridge Radio Telephone Act is for the exclusive use of the master or person in charge of the vessel. B, the person designated by the master. C, a person on board to pilot the vessel. D, and all of those above. The answer is D, all of the above. You are required to maintain, this is question 8, you are required to maintain a continuous listening watch on channel D16, aka 156.8 megahertz. 9. The radio message urgently concerned with safety of a person overboard would be prefixed by the words B, pan pan, pon pon. It's pronounced pon pon. Question 10. The bridge-to-bridge VHF radio telephone frequency is C, channel 13. 11. What is the normal operating power for ship-to-ship communications on channel 13? Answer is A, 1 watt or less. 12. Every vessel navigated in violation of the Vessel Bridge-to-Bridge Radio Telephone Act or the regulations thereunder is subject to a penalty of not more than B, $500. 13. If your bridge-to-bridge radio telephone ceases to operate, you must D, exercise due diligence to restore the system at the earliest practicable time. 14. If your bridge-to-bridge radio telephone fails while underway, the answer is D, the loss of radio telephone must be considered in navigating the vessel. 15. What should you do if you have transmitted a distress call a number of times on channel 16 and have received no reply? The answer is A, repeat the message using any other channel on which you might attract attention. 16. If you know that the vessel you are about to call on the VHF radio maintains a radio watch on both working and the calling frequencies, which frequency should you use? The answer is D, the working frequency. 17. Which radio telephone transmission may be sent over channel 16? A distress signal mayday. B, call to a particular station. C, a meteorological warning. The answer is D, all of the above. Question 18. A Coast Guard radio telephone message about an aid to navigation that is off station is preceded by the word D, security, or the pronunciation you'll most likely hear is securite, securite. 19. One method of reducing the length of radio transmissions without distorting the meaning of your words is by using C, procedure words. 20. You have just tried calling another vessel on the VHF and they have not replied. How long should you wait before calling that station again? The answer is A, 2 minutes. 21. What is the correct phonetic pronunciation of the letter O? And the answer is B, Oscar. Oscar. Number 22. Normally, if a station does not reply after being called 3 times, you may not call that station for, answer C, 15 minutes. 23. What is the expected range of VHF on channel 16? Answer is A, 15 to 20 miles. Number 24. A message warning of a tropical storm should be sent as a, answer is D, safety message. Okay? So you'll notice that a lot of these, there's multiple good answers, but they want you to choose the best answer. And these answers to these questions are the best answer. Okay? Let's go on. These are the communication answers. I'm going to just pause it here. You can pause the video so you can write these down, and you can see the Code of Federal Regulations, the CFR, where they mention the answer to these questions above. Okay, so these are the questions we just went over. Another side note is it's highly recommended by the Coast Guard to get a radio telecommunication card and to be registered as a user of radio telecommunication by getting that card, that special card that they have for them. Okay, I think it's a small fee, maybe $25, and you just answer a few questions. That is not part of the 100-ton exam, although it is highly recommended by the Coast Guard to get that card. Okay. Next section, we have aids to navigation questions. Okay. Let's just start going over this. Question 1, which buoy is lettered? The answer is B, preferred channel buoy. None of those other ones have letters, they're all numbers. Question 2, when approaching a preferred channel buoy, what is the best channel? The best channel is indicated by the answer is B, color of the uppermost band. Question 3, a person navigating a vessel, answer is D, should never rely on a floating aid to maintain its exact position. Question 4, a preferred channel mark after consulting a chart, B, may be passed on either side. Question 5, in the U.S. aids to navigation system, red and green horizontally band buoys mark D, junctions, bifurcations, and preferred channels. 6, isolated danger buoy has D, a top mark consisting of 2 black spherical balls. That's an isolated danger buoy. 7, red lights may appear on A, horizontally banded buoys. 8, lights on preferred channel buoys will show D, a composite group flashing 2 + 1, red or green light. 9, the height of a light measured from what reference point? The height of a light is measured from what reference point? D, mean high water. 10, aids to navigation marking the intercoastal waterway can be identified by B, yellow bands, squares, or triangles marked on them. 11, a safe watermark is red and white vertically stripped, has red spherical top mark, has only a white light in Morse code. The answer is D, all of the above. I don't remember seeing that question on the test. Number 12, safe water buoys are D, sometimes lettered. 13, buoys and day beacons exhibiting a yellow triangle or square painted on them are used. C, where the intercoastal waterway and other waterways coincide. 14, which buoy may have even numbers? Answer B, unlighted none buoy. So it's the memory saying there is even red nuns have odd green cans. So that was what I used as a memory tool for that. 15. How is safe watermark that can be passed close aboard on either side painted and lighted? The answer is D. Red and white stripes with Morse code alpha light. 16. I think under the U.S. something navigation system, a lighted buoy with a red spherical top mark indicates A. Safe water. 17. Which may be lettered? Well, the answer there is B. A spherical buoy. 18. A lighted buoy to be kept to starboard when entering from seaward shall have a B. Red light, red right return. 19. A buoy marking a wreck may be A. Showing a green light. 20. In the U.S. aids to navigation system, lateral aids as seen entering from seaward will display lights with characteristic flashing, occulting, quick flashing. The answer is D, any of the above. 21. A buoy that should be left to port when entering from sea. D, odd number. Even red nuns have odd green cans, and you're coming in red right return from seaward. It's got to be an odd number because it's a green can. 22. Buoys which only mark the port or starboard side of the channel will never exhibit a light with which characteristic? Answer C, composite group flashing. Some of these you have to really think about. But my recommendation is to read the question and then memorize the exact answer. Memorize the question, memorize the answer. It might take you about 5 times going through this test to do that, but it will happen and you'll be surprised that you remember the exact answer to these. So 23, which buoy may be odd numbered? B, an unlighted can buoy. 24, as your vessel is heading southward along the east coast of the United States, you encounter a buoy showing a red flashing light. How should you pass this buoy? Answer is B, you leave it to starboard. 25, a special purpose buoy shall be D, yellow. 26, you are steaming in a westerly direction along the Gulf Coast. You see ahead of you a lighted buoy showing a red isophase light. What action should you take? Answer is A, alter course to port and leave the buoy to starboard. 27, when a buoy marks a channel bifurcation, the preferred channel is indicated by the shape of unlighted buoy, the light color of a lighted buoy, the color of the topmost band. The answer is D, all of the above. 28, a yellow buoy may exhibit a B, yellow flashing light. 29, yellow lights may appear on A, special purpose buoys. 30, you have been informed that a dredging operation may be underway in your vicinity. Which of the following buoys would indicate the area? Answer is C, yellow buoys. 31, spoil grounds, anchorage areas, cable areas, and military exercise areas are all marked by a yellow buoy. This special mark, answer is C, may be lettered. 32, The Coast Guard captain of the port has restricted all vessel traffic from a section of a port while military exercises are being conducted. What buoys will mark this area? The answer is B, special marks. 33. White lights may be found on B, information and regulatory buoys. Number 34. White buoys with orange shapes, if lighted, shall show a light of which color? A, white. 35. How is the intensity of a light expressed in the light list? Answer is C, nominal range. 36. Which of the following is the characteristic of an isophase light? The answer is C, 1 second flash, 1 second eclipse. 37. A light that has a light period shorter than its dark period is described as A, flashing. 38. Range day marks may be painted any of the following colors except C, yellow. 39. On a chart, the characteristic of the light on a lighthouse is shown as flashing white with a red sector. The red sector, B, indicates a danger area. 40. Entering from C, triangular-shaped day marks are used to mark A, the starboard side of the channel. It would basically be a nun shape as a triangle mark. 41. A safe water day mark is a D, red and white octagon. 42. The time required for a lighted aid to complete a full cycle of light changes is listed in the light list as C, its period. It's the full time required to complete a full cycle. 43. The 4 standard light colors used for lighted aids to navigation are red, green, white, and D, yellow. 4. A lighthouse can be identified by its painted color, its lighted color and phase characteristic, its type of structure. The answer is D, all of the above. 45. The nominal range of a light may be accurately defined as the maximum distance at which a light may be seen. C, with a meteorological visibility of 10 nautical miles. 46. You are sailing in an IALA region B, but outside of the United States. International region B, but outside of the United States. You sight a buoy, but you are unable to distinguish the color. You notice that it has an X shape for a top mark. What is this type of buoy? The answer is A, a special purpose. 47. You are traveling clockwise on the intercoastal waterway and encounter a green buoy with a yellow triangle. How should you leave this aid? The answer is A, keep it to your right. It's kind of a confusing one. 48. Bearings of red sectors on a light are indicated in the light list as B, true bearings from the ship to light. 49. Seasonal aids, as stated in the light list, are A, removed when endangered by ice. 50. Some lights used as aids to marine navigation have a red sector to indicate a danger area. The boundaries of a colored sector of light are listed in B, the light list. 51. Some lights used as aids to marine navigation have a red sector to indicate the danger area. The limits of a colored sector of a light are listed in the light list in which of the following manners? The answer is B, true bearings as observed from the ship towards the light. Those are the true bearings, not the compass bearings. 52. What does the symbol in the diagram D32NG on the chart indicate? Let's see, D32NG. D32NG. What does that indicate? N12, and you have a red diamond. The answer is D, a red nun buoy, number 12. Red nun buoy, number 12. 53. The description Raycon beside the illustration in the diagram D33NG means A. The description Raycon, what does that mean? That means C, a radar transponder beacon. Means you can probably see it on the radar. You definitely see it on the radar. Should be able to. 54. Buoy, D in diagram D34NG indicates, let's say we're looking at buoy D in N34. Buoy D N34. What does that indicate out of these? The answer is a safe watermark, B. 55. Mariners are first warned of serious defects on important changes to aids to navigation by the means of A, broadcast notice to mariners. Okay? So these are the answers to the navigation, aids to navigation section. We did communication, and we did aids to navigation so far. I'll pause it so you can read those. And this is just in the study guide that I received with this course, but you can also look these up on the code, the federal regulations too. So the next section is the Coast Pilot questions. You'll need to learn how to reference Coast Pilots, which are basically books describing different ports that you're in, and these are actual verbal descriptions of what is in the port. Whereas the charts are kind of graphical descriptions, the Coast Pilots are verbal descriptions, so you can read about the port that you're going into if you've never been there before. Or even if you've been there before and you want to learn more about the area. The Coast Pilots, and when I took the exam, they had the Coast Pilots there that I could actually reference. So I'm not sure if many places do that. But I think this section is small enough to where you can actually memorize these answers. So let's get to it. Question 1. When evacuating a seaman by helicopter lift, the vessel should be C, underway with the wind on the port bow. When evacuating a seaman by helicopter lift, the vessel should be C, underway with the wind on the port bow. 2. Which type of EPRIB transmits on a frequency 406 megahertz? It's category 1. So basically, if you have a Coast Pilot sitting in front of you, you can just go to the back, the index of words, and find a key word. So in this case, EPRIB or frequency or EPRIB frequency together, you'd search for that word and then you would look it up in the context of the coast pilot, and then it will tell you the answer here. Okay, so that's how to reference these coast pilots and to find the answers for these questions. Okay, the coal regs, the regulations, demarcation lines are found in which chapter of the coast pilot? Answer is B, chapter 2. The reference datum used, this is question 4, the reference datum used in determining the heights of land features on most charts is B, mean high water. Should be an easy one to remember. 5, which chapter in the coast pilot would contain navigation regulations for the area you are navigating in? Navigation regulations for the area you navigate in. D, chapter 2 is the answer. 6, a coast chart has a scale of, answer is D, 1 to 50,000 to 1 to 150,000. So that's the type of chart. This type of chart is called the coast chart. The coast chart has a scale of 1 to 50,000 to 1 to 150,000. 7, which government agency publishes the U.S. Coast Pilot? Answer is A, National Ocean Service. Question 8, mariners are first warned of serious defects or important changes to aids to navigation by means of A, broadcast notice to mariners. Let's remember that one. Should be easy. 9, a race rock in Block Island Sound is, the answer is D, nearly 200 yards in diameter with a depth of 8 feet. You need to look that one up. And that might be a question where it might change on the exam to where you'd have to look up, that specific item or feature. The race rock in Block Island Sound is D, nearly 200 yards in diameter with a depth of 8 feet. I had to look that one up. So 10, Cape Charles Lighthouse is located on what island in the entrance to Chesapeake Bay? It's probably easy for you if you live in the Chesapeake Bay area, but if you're not, you're going to have to look at the Coast Pilot or just memorize this. B is the answer, Smith Island. Question 11, which of the following publications would you use to obtain information concerning navigation regulations, outstanding landmarks, channel and anchorage areas, clearances of bridges, and distance tables for Chesapeake Bay? The answer is A, a Coast Pilot. So that's kind of the definition of a Coast Pilot, of what a Coast Pilot is. It's a publication that does all those things. Okay, so here's the answers to the Coast Pilot questions. Go ahead and copy those down. And then we'll move on to the next section, which is tide and current questions. I'm still in navigation general exam. Tide and current questions. Question 1, the height of a light is measured from what reference point? B, mean high water. Common answer here. Number 2, spring tides, a regular tidal phenomenon of high tides and lower low tides occur when the D, moon is new or full. I'm just going to verify. Okay, we're still running here. 3, neap tides occur only, D, when the moon is at quadrature. When the moon is at quadrature. Neap tides. That's basically the least amount the tides are going to move. So 4, the period at high or low tide during which there is no change in the height of the water is called the C, stand of the tide. Question 5, the term spring tides means tides which A, have lows lower than normal and highs higher than normal. Spring tides. 6. What is the datum of soundings for charts used in the United States? Answer is B, mean lower low water. 7. What does the term tide refer to? B, vertical movement of the water. 8. The range of the tide is the C, difference between the heights of successive high and low tide. Answer 9. The reference datum used in determining the heights of land features in most charts is, answer is B, mean high water. 10. Which of the following is the correct definition of height of tide? Answer is A, the vertical distance from the tidal datum to the level of the water at any time. Number 11. On the west coast of North America, charted depths are taken from C, mean lower low water. Number 12. Mean high water is correctly defined as the average height of D, high waters. 13. What is the frequency at which diurnal tides normally occur? Answer is B. A single high and a single low water occur each tidal day. That's the diurnal tides. 14. Spring tides occur under which of the following conditions? Answer is D. When the sun, moon, and earth are nearly in line with any other, in any order. When the sun, moon, and earth are nearly in line in any order. It's a spring tide. 15. Which of the following describes ebb current? C is the answer. Horizontal movement of the water away from the land. That's the ebb current. 16. The speed or rate of current is given in, answer is B, knots. 17. Tidal current subordinate stations are A, geographical locations between the reference stations. All right, so these are the answers for tides and currents. Hopefully that was an easier one for everybody. Okay, let's move on to advanced navigation questions. Okay. Number 1, a true bearing with a charted object when plotted on a chart will establish a B, line of position. A true bearing of a charted object when plotted on a chart will establish a line of position. 2, a radar range to a small charted object such as a light will provide a line of position in what form? A radar range. It's a B, an arc. 3, you are on course 237 true, and a light on your port quarter bears 220 R. What would be the true bearing of the light from your vessel? Answer is D, 097. Okay. 4, if possible, a vessel position should be plotted by bearings A, of fixed known objects on shore. 5, a position that is obtained by taking lines of position from one known object at different times and advancing them to a common time by applying your vessel's course and speed is known as a D, running fix. 6, leeway is the C, natural movement of a vessel downwind of her intended course. Leeway. 7, a single line of position when combined with a dead reckoning position results in an B, estimated position. Okay, 8. A position that is obtained by applying predicted current and wind effect to your vessel's course and speed is known as an A, estimated position. 9. A position that is obtained by using 2 or more lines of position from known fixed objects at about the same time is known as a C, fix. They're known. Known position. It's a fix. 10. A position that is obtained by applying only your vessel's course, speed, and time of run from a known position is known as a dead reckoning position. 11. When possible, a DR plot should always be started from which of the following? C, a known position. 12. A lookout should report objects sighted using C, relative bearings. Sometimes they go 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. You know, that's relative to you moving through the water. Sometimes they say, 010, 090, 180 means right behind you. So that's relative bearings. 13. The wind speed and direction observed from a moving vessel is known as C, apparent wind. 14. A relative bearing is always given from D, the vessel's bow. Okay, so that's advanced navigation questions. These are the answers. So you can quickly go down your answer sheet and mark if they're correct or not. We'll move on to electrical navigation questions. Okay. Number 1, the most accurate determination made by radar is that of B, range to a target. Number 2, what is the automatic identification system, AIS? It is B, a shipboard broadcast system that acts like a transponder operating in the VHF maritime band, providing vessel information for safe navigation. Number 3, what publication contains radio direction finding information? Answer C, DMA publication 117. You just got to memorize that one. 4, there are 2 primary electronic chart formats. They are, it's called B vector and raster. 2 primary electronic chart formats. 5, what is the global positioning system, GPS? Should be easy. Everybody kind of knows what this is. D, a satellite-based navigation system which provides precise worldwide 3-dimensional navigation capabilities. Okay, there's the electronic navigation answer sheet. Now we'll go on to the weather questions. This is the last section, I believe. So let's zoom in here. Weather questions. Number 1, brief violent showers frequently accompanied by thunder and lightning are usually associated with B, a passage of a cold front. Number 2, a cold front moving in from the northwest can produce A, thunderstorms, hail, and then rapid clearing. 3, after a cold front passes, the barometric pressure usually D, rises. This is after a cold front passes. Barometric pressure usually D, rises, often quite rapidly with clearing skies. That's a cold front. 4, a cloud sequence of cirrostratus and altostratus clouds followed by rain usually signifies the approach of a C, warm front. Usually the cloud's way up high. 5, the first indications a mariner will have of the approach of a warm front will be, answer is B, high cirrus clouds gradually changing to cirrostratus, then to altostratus. Okay, they're really high, getting lower and lower. Okay, then 6, the fog most commonly encountered at sea is called D, advection fog. 7, fog forms when the air D temperature equals or is below the dew point temperature. Equal or below the dew point temperature. 8, when compared to air temperature, which of the following factors is most useful in predicting fog? B, dew point. 9, advection fog is most commonly caused by D, warm, moist air being blown over a cold surface. It's a great description. 10, in the northern hemisphere, you are caught in the navigable semicircle with plenty of sea room available. The best course of action is to bring wind on the B, starboard quarter, and make as much headway as possible. So some of these you have to think about. 11, wind direction may be determined by observing all of the following except, this is wind direction, D, the swells. The swells are not the waves. You can determine wind direction by waves, but all of the following except swells. You cannot determine wind direction by swells. 12, in the northern hemisphere, a wind that shifts in a counterclockwise manner is a B, backing wind. 13, which of the following wind patterns generally influences the movement of frontal weather systems over North American continent? C, prevailing westerlies. That's the wind pattern that influences them the most. 14, you are steaming eastward on the North Atlantic in an extratropical cyclonic storm, and the wind is dead ahead. According to the Bies-Ballott's law, the center of the low pressure lies D, to the south. 15, if your weather bulletin shows the center of a low pressure area to be 100 miles due east of your position, what winds can you expect? The answer is C, north to northwest. So the low pressure is due east. You expect the winds to go north to northwest. Okay, 16, the barometer is an instrument for measuring the D, pressure. Everybody should get that. 17, the best way to check your barometer is to D, check it against a local weather broadcast. 18, the purpose of the set hand on an aneroid barometer is to B, indicate any change in the reading of the barometer. So you set it at one time and then you come check it at a later time. So 19, prior to reading an aneroid barometer, you should tap the face lightly with your finger to C, bring the pointer to its true position. 20, barometers are usually calibrated to indicate atmospheric pressure in, answers D, inches of mercury in millibars. 21, wind velocity may be measured by a anemometer. 22, you have determined that you are in the dangerous semicircle of a tropical cyclone in the northern hemisphere. What action should you take to avoid the storm? Very important. D, place the wind on the starboard bow and hold that course. Place the wind at the starboard bow and hold that course. I was always taught go away from the storm. Drive away from the storm as much as you can. Okay, 23. A steep barometric gradient would indicate C, strong winds. 24. Atmospheric pressure at sea level is equal to 1.47 pounds per square inch, 29.92 inches of mercury, 1013.25 millibars. Answer is D, all of the above. 25. A line on a weather chart connecting places which have the same barometric pressure is called a C, isobar. Iso means pressure. 26. The greater of the pressure difference between a high and low pressure center, the C, greater the force of the wind will be. 27. In North America, the majority of the weather systems move from D, west to east. 28. A cloud of marked vertical development, often anvil-shaped, will be classified as B, cumulonimbus. That's a big anvil. 29. Anticyclones are usually characterized by A, dry, fair weather. 30. The circulation in the vicinity of a low pressure area is called a cyclone. 31. The wind direction around a low pressure area in the northern hemisphere is C, counterclockwise and inward. Counterclockwise and inward. 32. The wind circulation around a high pressure center in the northern hemisphere is D, clockwise and moving outward from the high. It's the wind circulation around a high pressure center in the northern hemisphere, clockwise and moving outward from the high. 33. Good weather is usually associated with a region of B, high barometric pressure. Low pressure is bad weather. High barometric pressure is good weather. 34. An occluded front is usually caused by a C, cold front overtaking a warm front. An occluded front. 35. The probability of a sudden wind may be foretold by C, fast approaching line of dark clouds. 36. When a warm air mass is adjacent to a cold air mass, the separation line between the two is called a front. It's like the front. 37. What type of cloud is indicated by the number 5 in illustration 39NG? Let's go to 39NG. Okay, where are we? What type of cloud is indicated by the number 5 in illustration 39NG? So here we have 1, here we have 2, here we have 3, here we have 4, here we have 5. What type of cloud is that? Okay, this is altitude in feet. I think this is 26,000, 24, 22, 20. There's 10,000. There's 2,000. Okay, they're asking number 5. What type of cloud is that? Number 5. And the answer is altocumulus. C. That is an altocumulus type of cloud. 39. What type of cloud is indicated by the number 4 in illustration? Number 4. This is altocumulus. What type of cloud is this one? Number 4. Answer is altostratus. Altostratus. Okay. Number 39. What type of cloud is indicated by the number 2? What type of cloud is indicated by number 2? Altocumulus, altostratus. What is this one? Number 2. And that is cirrostratus. B, cirrostratus. 40. At night, which of the following winds result from a landmass cooling more quickly than an adjacent water area? A landmass is cooling more quickly than an adjacent water area. C, land breeze. That's the type of wind. 41. What type of cloud is indicated by the number 8 in illustration 39? So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What type of cloud is that indicated by number 8 in this diagram? Very close to land. The answer is nimbostratus. Nimbostratus. What type? 42. What type of cloud is indicated by the number 7? Just above, a little bit above. What type of cloud is indicated by number 7? Looks like at about 8,000 feet. Kind of broken up. Answer is cumulus. So you have nimbostratus is the lowest, and then this is the cumulus clouds. Okay, number 43. What type of cloud is indicated by the number 6 in the illustration? Number 6. 5, 6. What type of cloud is indicated by this number 6? Okay. Number 6 is stratocumulus. This is a stratocumulus cloud. Okay. And then the big anvil, what is it? I think there's a question over here about the big anvil. Anyway, this is the big anvil shaped cloud, number 9. I think it indicates like a cold front is coming, or some sort of front is coming. Could be a warm front, I think too. I'm not sure. Okay, so these are the answers to the weather answers. Go ahead and copy them down. And then that concludes our Navigation General test questions. These are all the test questions that will be on Navigation General in my experience. Some of them will not be on, but most of these are all on the Navigation General exam. Okay? So thank you for joining me, and have a great day.